Hey guys, it's Jess. I'm back. If you've been watching my videos today, you know we're getting really creative and we're finding random stuff in our house that we can use to teach kids while they're stuck home. So I have some really funny things to show you. What I wanted to talk about is that children who are sensory seeking may be even more sensory seeking right now that they're home because there's a change in routine. Changes in routine tend to make it more difficult to cope. So children who are seeking sensory input are actually going to need a higher level of input to be okay. So I'm going to show you some sensory activities you can do at home that are going to be really fun, really easy, and literally cost pretty much nothing. So the first thing is just shaving cream. So shaving cream is a great thing for kids to play with. Got it all over me. If you're, they love to just kind of mush it around their hands, wipe it all over the table, do lots of really fun stuff with it. The good news is this kind of disappears. If you're putting it on your kitchen table, if you have a wood table, you may want to put down some plastic because it can potentially stain the table. A lot of parents are afraid this is really messy. You see kind of how quickly it went away. So it's actually, believe it or not, a pretty less messy activity compared to some of the other things you could potentially do. So that's really fun for kids. It'll keep them occupied for a period of time, give them that input that they're craving, and when it's done, it won't be much of a mess. So the other thing I'm going to talk about is bubbles. So bubbles are a great way to do things with kids. I mean, kids just love bubbles. Now, I happen to have some bubbles. And you're going to say, well, that's not fair. You said you weren't using anything that you purchased. Well, I'm going to show you a little trick, right? There's always a way. I'm a big believer that there's always a way. And you know why I'm saying that? Because I know there's a way you're going to get through this. This is literally just dish soap. So we can make our own bubbles. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about a wand? Well, like I said, there's always a way. This happens to be a shaker cup bottle. Of course, it worked every time except when I'm on camera, right? Bubbles! There we go. So that's proof, like when you call a therapist and say, my child is acting out, and then you pay us to come observe and figure out why, and they're on their absolute best behavior when we're there. Yeah, Bubbles just did that to me right now. But anyway, this is proof you can always find something, right? Just get creative. Find some way to do something. I literally made bubbles with a shaker cup. Cool. All right, the other thing which is really fun, and if you watched a previous video, I talked about fine motor skills, transferring rice back and forth. Doing it with water is actually really fun. So I just cut a little piece of a sponge, and I'm gonna dip it in, right, to this water. And I'm gonna pick it up. I put a little soap in there because kids tend to like it being sudsy, but you don't have to. And then just squeeze it, and they can go back and forth. It's gonna promote focus, it's gonna promote attention, and it's fun, it's sensory. They're gonna like it. As long as they're sensory seeking. If they're sensory avoiding all of these activities, they're not gonna wanna do them. But if your kid is sensory seeking, then you wanna do this. If you don't know if your kid is sensory seeking or sensory avoiding, I put out a video 2 days ago called Sensory Differences in Autism. Watch that video. You also may have watched my video where I talked about getting kids to sit down, and I talked about doing fun activities at the table to pair it as a fun place. Initially, especially if you're going to be doing this long term, you want your kids to be able to sit. Don't start with like the really hard stuff. Start with this cool kind of fun stuff, and it's going to be a much more rewarding experience for you and your child. So I hope you try these activities. If you do, I would love for you to drop a comment and tell me how they went. If you are stuck at home and you're confused on what to do with your child, email me. I'd love to help you. Head over to hopeeducationservices.com. You can email me right from there. If you have a question, I will make a video and answer it for you.